my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and we're continuing with my sweet vampire Candice. This is the start of chapter 13. Cassandra's final prophecy. It so happened that one day Candice decided to get something that resembled a day job. She spent a lot of time in the library. Through Ambrose's connection, Candice was able to get a word study. Together with Sophita, they handled the entry of new books. Candice liked the library. On her first day visiting the library, the folks were putting up a sign. They placed the letter F and then the letter U. Candice loved hanging out on the 7th floor of the library due to the view. From time to time, a little falcon would appear near the window. One day she opened the window to feed the bird a bit of ham. The bird looked at her with suspicion before nibbling at it. The work in the library for Candice was easy. She would put stickers with the card numbers on all the new books. She would then put them in a card and then send them down to be placed into the library. At times she would read some of the new books over the top. As she was heading out on her last day of schooling, she noticed Sophita taking with her a bunch of vinyl records in a cart. Candice went to help Sophita with the records. Sophita said, "Can you believe they just thrown away all these records?" "Yeah, I'm not surprised. The real question is why are you bothering to rescue them?" asked Candice, logging the second cart with the records. The two dragged the cars to the parking lot, which was pretty dark. Before entering it, they looked left and then right. With the coast clear, they felt safe enough to focus on unloading the cargo. Candice asked, "Should we put the cars back?" "Nah, that's a stupid job too," said Sophita. "Unless cause I'm bored of school. One can only write so many S's before you want to put a bullet right between your eyes." "It seems kind of pointless if you ask me," said Candice. "Well, the teachers tend to make student compilations of essays. They get the money and the students get nothing," explained Sophita. She added, "But to be fair, those student loans are not going to pay themselves." The conversation was interrupted by the screech of a strange-looking dove. Sophita reached into her pocket and she brought out a gun and she shot at the bird. Candice said, "I think that was a normal bird." "I guess. Maybe I'm just a bit on edge lately." "You can never be too certain whom to trust these days," said Sophita. The girls left the parking lot, and that was the last time they went to FIU. By now, it was 2011. Sophita and Candice were itching to get back to fooling around. Sophita had officially gotten permission to return to the fall whenever she felt like it. It was then when Candice figured, we had yet to go to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. The boys went there once, and they said that it was great. I saw the photo they took on their Facebook. The place seemed quite fun indeed, and the lights are within the acceptable margin, said Sophita. "So, sure, let's go." "Cool, I want to see those photos," said Candice, opening up her cell phone. She did not have a Facebook account, rather she used Ambrose's account to see whatever piqued her interest. When she found them, she frowned when she noticed that the account was closed. "Now that is sad, they closed her Facebook. Can't blame them. I got contacted by folks I had never wanted to see again. And then there are normal folks who talk to you for like 5 seconds and then they start asking to see your tetes and your chachas. I can't remember the last time I had a good interaction with someone online. I never bother with that. Just sending an email is like super stressful. At least when I speak to a person up front, I can punch them in the face should they displease me," said Candice. And so it was decided that the girls would go to Universal Studios. Marlo was going through an unusual phase. Just remembering all the traffic was giving him bad flashbacks. If it wasn't a place he could bike to, he was not going to bother with it. Senwarudo was more even than Marlo was spending more time going to random places with his wife. Food was a shared interest, and Miami had plenty of variety. Candice phoned a couple of folks who were used to driving in Miami, and to save on hotel costs, they formed a little party. This time Candice went with Ambrose, Sophita, Basuki, Sidanta, and Horsana. They rented a van and off they went to the long 4-hour ride. Horsana said to Candice, "Do you think it is going to be safe to go without Cassandra?" "I wouldn't rely on her too much," said Sophita. "Sometimes she grows quiet for years before suddenly knowing what is coming. Her visions have been coming a lot less now that she's getting close to her natural death. It wouldn't surprise me if the parrot is dead by the time we return." "What?" said Candice, fake crying. Don't cry, Candice, said Ambrose, stretching his hand to pat her head. So what is your power as a mommy? Asked Vasuki. I don't know. And not that we have any reputable literature on the subject. I'm not even Egyptian. I'm a Hittite. And a bandit at that. I did not even learn how to read till I went to night school in the States, and what I learned was English. How about you, Horsana? You can read ancient Egyptian writing, asked Candice. No. The priest said that a literary puppet king was a bit too much to handle. I can only imagine what my poor father had to put up with till his death. I saw him in the museum the other day. According to the curator, the poor guy died at the age of 17, said Horsana, getting the sad again. Changing the subject, Siddhanta said, for a while we did try some of the mummy powers. How did that work out? Asked Vasuki. The bullet scene was at least legit. We can heal wounds that normally kill humans. We also do not suffer from stupid allergies, said Siddhanta. What about the cats? Asked Candice. I was allergic to them in my past life and in this one, so nothing out of the ordinary, explained Siddhanta. But I saw on your profile a picture of you and a stupid hairless cat, said Ambrose. Ah yes, well, Horse and I wanted a cat. I did not want a cat. So we got him the stupid cat that he wanted because he did all his homework and he washed the dishes for a week, explained Siddhanta. For the rest of the ride, they focused on mundane topics. Vasuki spoke about his current show addiction, as if I did. He had originally known the guy from watching Jaime Bailey. Whenever Bailey did not have a host, he would spend his time trash-talking Chavez. He seemed like super obsessed about the Venezuela president. Vasuki rambling about Bailey said, the long and short of it is that he was a real fan till he turned out to be another lying, petty humber. And then I lost all respect for the man, and I don't even follow him in Twitter anymore. Vasuki then went to ramble about Alexis Valdez. His favorite skit was about the fronterizo, the border security guard. Vasuki said, the joke is that in Cuba, fronterizo is a euphemism for somebody who's not very smart. Yes, we get it, Vasuki, said Siddhanta, who was starting to get bored of having all the Cuban jokes explained to him. Eventually they made it to the Quality Inn, and since they were being like super stingy with the cats, they all stayed in the same room with 2 beds and a small sofa. Vasuki got the bed for himself and he drove. Siddhanta and Horsana had their share the bed, one of the bed. Sophita got the couch and Ambrose slept in the tub. Meanwhile, Candice slept in the closet. As a vampire, she was used to tight quarters. The following day, Vasuki drove the party to Orlando. He did not stay, however. He had some unfinished business in the outlet. His family back in Martisor wanted a bunch of stuff, and despite arriving like super early, the park was already packed to the gills. Ambrose said to Candice, don't worry, I got us express passes. I would have saved your money if you ask me, retorted Siddhanta. We have a vampire, don't we, Candice? Do some of your vampire hypnosis and get us into the park for free. Candice went up to the teller and she waved her hand all bent style before saying, you will let us into the park without paying. No, you will go to the line and buy a ticket like everyone else, said the security guard, chuckling. Well, I can say I tried, sighed Candice. You are pretty useless as a vampire, aren't you, said Siddhanta. Oh yeah, the time?
6 minutes.
Okay. Yes, pile it on, said Candice, annoyed. Horsana pitched at Siddhanta's elbow to get his attention. With his eyes, Siddhanta showed his disapproval. Siddhanta said to Candice, I'm sorry. It's fine, at least you tried, said Candice. As a lady, Candice and Sophita were Siddhanta's only pupil. After the incident in Orlando, the mummies had stopped playing with the vampires of the Sunshine State. All the promised perks and immunities had been for naught. The incident had been swept under the rug, and some even seemed surprised that Siddhanta was making a big deal about it. For those ancient vampires, being bullies was second nature to them. They came and went as they pleased, uncaring and unfeeling. Florida was a place they went to unwind and nothing else. And Siddhanta did not want to play along. That was his problem. When Siddhanta saw the park, he said, wow, this place has changed a lot. Yeah, said Horsana without much enthusiasm. He added, if they wanted to do a Harry Potter thing, why did they not make it its own theme park? Lo and behold, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure was now the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. The place was full of little British children replaying their favorite scenes from Ollivander, to the train scene with the soul suckers, and the rest of the day was spent trying to find a ride that was not Harry Potter. Every so often, Siddhanta would complain about the absence of a ride he liked. They had taken down dueling dragons. Sighing, Candice said, well, let's go to the Men in Black ride. Sure enough, even with the express passes, they had to wait in line for at least 2 hours. While Sophita waited in line, she took photos of the folks passing by. She showed one of the photos to Ambrose and Candice before saying, look, this is a face of someone who's regretting all of their life decisions. While waiting in line, Candice saw the Weekly World News magazine. Horsana smiled and said, I'm a contributing writer. See, I wrote the story about a mommy who gave birth to a kid. That sounds like really, really stupid, said Sophita. The ride of Men in Black was pretty amusing. It was a simulation of the training scene from the movie. It combined a ride with an arcade shooter. From there they went to the Jaws ride. It was a good thing that they caught it before it got turned into Harry Potter. Candice had seen a few of the movie, but had never bothered to read the book. She regretted that they had chosen to use Diagon Alley from the later movies. In the first movie, it seemed like the type of place one would want to hang out. The scene that Candice walked into looked pretty creepy and ugly, and Siddhanta, who had been in England, said to Candice, seems pretty accurate if you ask me. While Candice, Sophita, and Rosetta tried to go on the roller coaster, Ambrose and Siddhanta waited near the fountain. This was the first time that the two of them were alone, forced to make small talk. Siddhanta started answering random emails on his phone. Meanwhile, Ambrose brought out a Nintendo 3DS. The scene was relatively new. Siddhanta looked over his shoulder and asked, how does the 3D scene work exactly? I had turned it off. It hurts my eyes, explained Ambrose. To illustrate this fact, Ambrose turned on this feature again. Sure enough, Siddhanta's eyes started hurting within a minute or two. The two of them found a nearby bench to sit down and wait. It was at this point that Ambrose saw what Siddhanta was looking at in his cell phone. Ambrose commented, the sex dolls had gotten pretty realistic. Siddhanta gave him a funny look before correcting, they are art dolls. If you say so. That areola is pretty well defined. A bit too much for your typical Barbie doll, insisted Ambrose, teasing Siddhanta. Oh yeah, the time?
2 minutes too.
Blushing a little, Siddhanta explained, it's not for me. Horsana has been complaining about getting a new stupid doll for months, and the entire house is full of them. Full as in there are just 2, guessed Ambrose. 2 is more than enough if you ask me, and somebody has to keep expenditures under control. And if Horsana is going to be a brat about it, then it falls on me to be the bad guy in this story. You could ask Maruro to buy it, suggested Ambrose. I prefer not to. I do not want to own that crazy woman any more favors, said Siddhanta. Ambrose got out his cell phone and he placed a small device under it. Using it, he had Siddhanta's cell phone. Siddhanta frowned and said, no, what is going on with this device now? Siddhanta only realized the problem when Ambrose forwarded the link of the product to Maruro. Back in South Florida, Maruro was in the ballet with Marlon. They had gotten front row seat, and Maruro was in the middle of getting scolded by the hostess because she was taking photos. Frowning, Maruro was like, if you're not supposed to take photos, you should have said so. The cameras made the artist distracted, complained the hostess. I don't really mind, said the dancer on the stage. He got down for a second to take a selfie with Maruro before returning to the show. Others for watching the scene were recording the hostess ran to humiliate her in Facebook. In the end, the pushy lady allowed Maruro to do what she felt like. Oh yeah, the time?
1 minute.
Oh yeah, let's just end it here. But we'll continue with this chapter later. Bye bye.